Now the fear of every fisherman becomes a reality. BBC One puts to sea with Roger Nowell.
Brother, just add 16 on there. Are you going to join in on that search here now?
Yeah, we are, Frank. We're already steaming here. We've been steaming here half an hour. I've had a yarn with the lifeboat. We're here. We're going to steam across here like this. The other is 10 or dozen ships here now in the search. They're going to come up, and we'll come down towards them, okay? Yeah. Turn out those deck lights, McGrath. All out.
How many hands, Roger?
Pardon? I don't know. All I know is a boat missing, and the boys are in there looking for her, and we'll go up top end and come down, all right? You working?
Yeah. Say, think about a little bit.
Well, Graham, I haven't heard any details at all on the VHF. I have no idea. She could be 20 foot, 30 foot, or 40 foot. Graham, we'll have those big spotlights shining out. Graham, turn that spotlight out over to see a bit. I found one little, she was a little boat on passageway to Ireland. Found her under Tolpedden one night, you know. There's several of them out looking for her, but we just went underneath Tolpedden. That's just like this side of Land's End, and they lost in the fog, you know, but we found them and took them in the Newland then. She's only about 40 foot, only, you know. But that was all right. That was good that we found them that day, you know. God. You're willing, you know, you're just wishing that you could just find her. Just think, God, there she is, you know. Oh, and they're all okay. And
I think that's what I heard. Right.
oh.
We'll be on again in a minute. That's what's coming on. They leave it to you now.
Oh, God almighty. When was that? When was that?
The other VHF is gone, like I can't get the oil of the VHF. They're all 16, nobody come back. I think that's what I just heard on radio promo. I should put it on. 3 rescued, I think he said there's 1 still missing.
An extensive air and sea search is underway 5 miles west of Newquay for a crewman still missing more than 3 hours after a fishing boat sank. 2 men were picked up by an RNAS Coldrose helicopter from a life raft shortly after the Newland-based Leah G went down. Lifeboats from Newquay and St Ives, other fishing vessels and the helicopter crew have been continuing the search.
We know all the boys there. 3 in the hospital, 1 in the... I'll tell the boys. One missing, 3 in Trelisk, off Padstow.
1 missing.
Don't know yet. Just come on Radio Cornwall up there.
3 missing.
3? No, they're 4. He said.
4 hours.
There's
4 hours?
3. They got 3 off, and they're in the hospital, and there's 1 still missing. We don't know who this is now. This is the worst of it, not knowing who's there.
Relations.
Well, exactly, not knowing who's there.
Put the women, you know, it's all very well. We know we're all right. But it put the women through bloody agony, didn't it?
So at the moment you're out of contact here.
Yeah, you can't get in touch, not like that. But if they named the boat, fair enough, and let's hope they find everybody. But, there's only a certain number that's going to be worried then, isn't it? Not saying there's a Newland boat gone down. I suppose every boat in Newland's out to sea.
There you are, Jiggy, look. There's another one there, look.
No, he was only talking about that bloody boat there last year.
Did you notice the hush, the calmness that came over the boys when... And it's like that all the time when you hear... like one of the boys are lost or a ship run down, one of that we know, if we know the crew, you know, it's just it's like a calm to come on just over the, you know, everything is very lethargic and, you know, and there again, there's me here. I reckon I think I got worries with the taxman and the weather and the fishing and add them all together, days at sea going to be stopped. It's nothing compared to what the people ashore are going to have now. They've lost their husbands or their sons, children are left, wives are left off. You know, and it's not so bad maybe for like if the children maybe 1 or 2, they won't be able to, but 7 or 8 or 9, that's the time. That's the time. Now that there is a Vodafone number of Tex Palomine, skipper of one of the Beamers. Lost off here 2 years ago. Actually still in the wheelhouse. Some of the crew were saved, but she rolled over. Well, I won't be needing this number anymore. There's another one bit the dust, as we say. Flipping lash up. Gone. And it'll happen again. But the boys are staying out in weather and they should never ever be out, and the ships were never built to be out in the weather. And the rules, the restrictions, everything combined is pushing the men to sea, and they're just turning over, being run down, and they're becoming tired, they're working harder, they're getting tired, and you haven't got your faculties about you when you're even the gear, or maybe just some small little thing you forget, gone. And you lose all everybody's gone, you know. And it's a flipping lash up. It's a lash up.
Hello, Captain Banks. It's Len Scott from the Fisherman's Mission at Newlyn. When the Wilhelmina Maria went down a few weeks ago, the mission was involved, and we've been asked by the family of Tex, the skipper, if it's possible for us to arrange for a boat to take them out so they can drop a wreath on the spot. Well, one of the biggest problems is when somebody's lost, particularly if there's no body, it's a long time before anyone's prepared to accept that the man's been lost. And in some cases it can be 4 or 5 years before a death certificate can be issued. And of course, if there's a mortgage or fairly large insurance policies, of course, they won't pay them out. They just don't want to know. One lady was paying the mortgage for 2.5 years after the death of her husband until they could get a death certificate. What about the children?
They don't say a lot, Len. Yeah. Not really, no. I was asked yesterday, actually, if the young boy speaks about it, he won't talk about his dad at all. He'll get up and get out of the room.
I noticed when I was here last week,
I know.
any mention of the accident, he just walked off.
Yes, he does. He either walks off or else he changes the subject.
Yeah.
He won't face it. He doesn't want to face it.
Yeah.
He will talk to me sometimes if we're quiet, and he might say something then. But what can I say to him?
Has he had trouble at school?
No, he hasn't, actually. I've just had a report from the school about him, and it's a lovely report.
Yeah.
Couldn't wish for anything more.
He's not had problems with the other children?
Only a minor skirmish, and that got sorted out by the school. They were marvellous over it, but you know, not really. Shane's quite a very shy boy anyway, but he seems to be getting on all right.
I saw Ian this morning,
and
I was sort of talking to him about the report, or asking him about it. I mean, what's happening?
Well, I've seen it, but I don't really understand all of it.
Yeah.
I don't.
Yeah.
I mean, it's all, well, proper marine jargon, really, and I mean, I just don't understand it all.
A tragedy can bring out the best and the worst in people. When someone's lost somebody, you'll suddenly find people who you probably didn't have a lot of time for or didn't think too much about will come to your aid. They really are caring and look after you. And you see that particularly in the fishing industry. When we've lost people and there's been an appeal fund, some of the letters you get, it really is the widow's mites. But then you get the other side of the situation where within days of something happening, allegations start getting spread, stories get told. The widows, usually the widows, are accused of affairs and all sorts of things, and you sometimes wonder just how people can be so insensitive. Anonymous phone calls, that's a great favourite. Anonymous phone calls, or the phone will just ring, and just enough to wake them up, usually in the middle of the night, and as they get there, they go and put the phone down. And truthfully, I just do not understand people, why they do it.
You know, 11 years ago today, we came down here, all poor weather. It was a full storm, you know, coming down here. And just in here, that's where the lifeboat was lost. Pendley lifeboat went in here that night, trying to save those people off that Union Star. And that was right in there. Every time I come here, I just think of that. You know, I'd always think of it, you know, and I think we will, you know, till we die, really. But you can imagine that going in here that night. The land has gone into a V, and she went in there and the sea was hitting and coming back out. So it must have been, a flipping nightmare, I should imagine. And I can imagine it more through being out here, knowing and seeing the sea going to shore, and you can imagine a little lifeboat, a 40 foot or something like that. I knew all of them aboard the boat, every one of them. I've been to sea with 4 of them. In Mousel, you would think that somebody dropped a canister of germs and everybody'd gone, and, you know, something, you know. Like it was like a dead village, you know, like can't really describe it, really, you know. Can't really describe it.
When Margaret and William II went down, Ian Higgs was one of the survivors. Ian's also the joint owner of the boat, or was the joint owner of the boat. And of course, the problem in many ways with the survivors is that people forget about them so quickly. There's a tragedy, a boat goes down, somebody's lost, and everyone thinks and feels for the families of those who've been bereaved, and that's right and proper. But in many ways, the survivors suffer tragedy and trauma. They've lost a crew member, and it becomes just like losing one of your own family. And of course, on top of that, you've lost your boat and you've lost your livelihood. And in Ian's case, he's lost his nerve.
We were steaming along. We was looking where we was going. And the next thing, I seen this orange wall. And I stood up straight away and shouted boat. But as I shouted boat, there was an almighty crash. And I was smashed to pieces. Next thing I knew, I was under the water. I didn't know where I was. I thought for a split second I was going to die. But then something seemed to say to me, fight. And then I just went with my arms and legs kicking away, and I come to the surface. I just looked around a bit dazed. There just seemed debris all around us, bits and pieces. As I was going for the life raft, I pulled the cord, hoping that the other two would come up as well. Terry swam towards me, helped me get in. We both leaned out the life raft and got to Malcolm, who seemed to be struggling a bit, because he'd obviously been in the water quite a few minutes.
And what about Dennis and Alex?
No sign of them at all. No, we was just hoping that they'd come up, but they didn't.
Do you think you will ever go back to sea again?
No, I shan't ever go back. There's too many memories. I have been out for the odd day to see if I could cope with it, and definitely not. It's no good for me. It's too many memories. The two guys we lost like brothers, and I can't face it.
Well, there we are. That's another trip behind us, another 8-9 days gone. It's nice to be coming in, but if you'd think 48 hours we'd be going again, that's the thing. And when you're in, like tomorrow, most of the day you'd be sleeping, and you got one day really to do anything in. It's not an awful lot of time, sure. I think one of these days we'll start sprouting gills, I reckon. We spend that much time out here, we'll end up with bloody gills growing out behind here. We've been short-handed this trip. Got old Bobby been ashore this trip. He didn't say anything to me, he just had these dizzy spells. Didn't say a word. And he keeled over up underneath the whaleback. Peter brought him aft. And then we asked him, I said, I've been having them for 2 or 3 weeks, and, you know. But he's still having them ashore, so it isn't the motion of the boat or anything, it must be something. But he's going to have tests, and we'll see then. And I should go up to see him later on in here, taking up a bit of fish. There, Robert, I brought you up a little bit of fish. You didn't a lot, it's only you and the missus, isn't it?
Yeah, I had that for dinner already.
Jiggy filleted it up for you.
Did?
Yep.
What's that Ed doing?
But no, he just left that for Cat.
I probably job.
Now look, what's all news with you?
That's right.
Hey?
Wow, I can't tell you very much. Well, it's I don't know about good or bad, but then it's all do with what I got is all do with arthritis, you know.
Yeah.
And that's more or less in the shoulders, and all these things I can get in, like dizzy spells and one thing now, that's all due to the arthritis. They give me a collar to wear over there, but...
is that the one? Where's it to?
There, and they're side that book.
Oh, I thought it was one of those...
just one of the little soft collars. Like.
I thought it was one of the leather ones, because Jiggy said...
No.
Where's your collar? He gonna lead and take you for a walk, didn't he?
That little soft collar, like, you're not putting on to ease a bit, that's all.
Yeah.
When he said, like, you know, if I want it, wear it, but if I don't, well, fair enough, you know. It'll all do the wear and tear.
So have we got to keep your bunk empty aboard the boat, or what?
Well, yes, see what go on up to that for a bit of a while.
At the moment, I think you're throwing junk in it.
Well, honestly speaking, well, that's all right, they can clear that junk out.
It could be now, Bob. This is it.
Well, that's it, if they can't do nothing about it.
That's right. There's no good being out there like that, is it?
No. Well, you know what it was like when you brought me in.
Well, I know.
No one said I'm safe, am I? You want to say I'm bloody liability to myself?
Well, you know that, Robert, if you get up there in the night and we're, like, the watchman's in the wheelhouse and you go out and have a piddle on the deck and you have a turn then when you're gone and nobody know you've been up. What do Inez think about all this stuff, Bob?
Handsome.
Inez, do you think you go to sea again, Inez, or what?
Well, I hope so.
Well, I'm saying...
I wouldn't mind finishing if it went through health.
It's no good for him being out there, like...
No, ain't no place for him.
Not like that, is it?
No.
All right, we ought to be put on the
60.
Put out the grass at 55.
55.
We've worked twice as long as anybody ashore.
And when we come ashore, have a drop of beer, we will run down right, left, and centre.
That's right, and that's fact. That's a fact.
Because we'd have a pint.
Exactly. And I've always said, Bob, that I think that these women who go on about these fellas here because they have a drop of beer, they ought to be taken to sea for 10 days.
Yes.
And say, now, there you are.
That's what they put up with.
Now.
Oh, I don't know about that.
Well, I do.
We've reared the families.
Well, I know that, but Christ,
We've
without
done
him,
our share.
Without him,
We've done our share.
Well, exactly. What I'm saying is, like, I think they ought to leave them have a little recreation at times, like go off on a...
Yeah, it was recreation and recreation, isn't it?
Well, I know, but you know what I mean, Ines, you know, because we're...
Yeah, but I don't see why a man should go see, come in, spend the rest of the time while he's in on the beer.
I know, well, they don't, do they? Well, one of the youngsters...
a lot do. After all, you don't have no life together.
Bugger all.
Not really.
If you have all day...
Here, somebody reckoned up how long Bobby was in. What was it? 38 days or something.
That's in the 12 months.
That was in the 12 months.
I don't doubt it. I don't doubt that.
Well, you know how many days in when you look at the chart then.
That's right. What's it going to be like now to have Bobby there all the time?
No, I don't mind it.
I knew she was going to say that, Bob.
She'd have turned over in the morning when we were in bed, give me a kiss.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I knew to make a tea.
Thank you for another day.
Did she really?
No, I woke up this morning, he had a smacker in the ear.
Did he, Bob?
I don't know what the bloody
No, he did, honest. He did, honestly.
What, with a bad neck?
Oh, she was dreaming.
No,
Oh,
I must have been dreaming. I give him a smacker in the ear.
What the bloody hell's on it?
Hi, this is men's stuff. We know it now. Within another decade.
Who'd ever manage to pick their pension up?
Well, like I say, you can go back as well as I can, and you reckon up on your hands the people that have gone the full term to 65, the hard-working ones that have run boats, how many have ever lived to pick up their pension? Very few of the hard-working ones.
Well, they're worn out, aren't they? They're finished. They're worn out.
Well, the French are supposed to retire at 55.
They come ashore at 65. They've had 50 years out there. They're flipping all worn out. And then they wonder why they come ashore and pop off.
The French are supposed to retire at 55. We're supposed to be in the common market. They can land at 55. Retire at 55.
Well, there ain't a lot to be said for this common market at the moment, is it? In our side.
Nothing common, is it?
No.
We've been sold down the line now. Every year was going on, we're being sold down the line.
Yes, that's right.
We got nobody over there to defend us or ask for anything. Because the people who are looking after the fishing side of it here don't know anything about the damn fishing side of it. Have you seen any of them come down here? They only come down here if royalty's coming down. Read the paper yesterday. The Lucky, she'd have come here. She's Euro cutter. She turned over yesterday up off the Dutch coast.
Somebody said they heard it on the...
They picked up 3. One was drowned, and the last one had been. He was in the owl, in the ship for 6 hours, knocking the owl. They got him out, anyhow. You don't know Bobby Buttons? You know Bobby Buttons used to be aboard our boat. Bobby, you know Tony buy the fish for WS.
Yeah.
Well, his dad. Do you remember his dad?
No.
Chap 64 or 5 now, Bobby.
Don't think so.
Well, he went ashore ill from us, you know.
Yeah.
And we were looking around to see if we can get a youngster like to sort of take over from him, bring him on a bit, you know. You don't know anybody, because we're down to 5 now, you see. Yeah. And if we had like a youngster, you could bring him on a wee bit. You know what I mean? New gear?
Never knew.
Never be paid for, you know. No, seriously, look. But we're looking for somebody like to come with us, like a youngster, you know, like 17 or 18, if you know anybody around. Well, we're looking now, you know Bobby's finished, isn't he? Buttons were good.
I don't know.
Yeah, he's finished.
I didn't know that.
Doctor told him that's it. You know, he kept keeling over and all that.
Oh, you had balance trouble?
Yeah.
Ah, right, yeah.
So we're looking for like somebody to, well, like a youngster, like, you know, bring on.
Well, I don't know nobody. Thing is, half your trouble is nowadays, see. They don't want to spend no time away.
Well, exactly. The boys don't want to go out there, you know, 9-10 days a day.
Like my boy went to go fishing, I wouldn't stop him.
No.
But I'd try to talk him out of it because I can see it's going to be a future there for E. You're lucky to get it yourself.
Well, that's right. I've asked 2 or 3 around, but they don't know anybody. We're looking for a youngster that,
Yeah.
well, like your boy's age, you know, something like that, you know.
Not that I know of at the moment, no, but I'll have a think and see if there's anybody who knows. Like.
Would you, if you were 16 again at 17?
Definitely.
You would?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, well, they don't think the same way as we do now, Kevin, you know that.
No, quick money these days, that's what they want.
Gonna miss me, are you know?
I'll tell you the truth of it.
Me and Mitch and Jiggy and Tony.
Yes, well, I miss the old ship,
Right
isn't
on.
it? Bound to miss a bit of excitement, a bit of laughing jokes, isn't it?
Well, is it excitement anymore, Robert, is it?
Well,
Or
you
no?
I don't know, you used to have your moments, didn't
Well,
it?
the only bit of excitement what we had there come end up was when you kept keeling over like Dizzy and Mitch bringing the aft and all that lot.
I earned safe on a boat, really.
Then there again, perfectly fit man to get scattered around there once a week off.
Yeah.
You know, either fingers are gone or lost their bloody
yes,
arm or something, didn't they?
Oh, damn it, Robert board here the last trip, they brought that boy ours in, didn't they?
Well, Freddie's boy.
Yeah, he went around the whipping drum.
I didn't know that, did he?
Yes, damn it, I bring you in last Friday. Well, we say that same thing happened there when that poor old boy got killed when they had the Elizabeth Ann. He was there on that whipping drum. Of course, he had a right-in turn around him.
That took him right around it, didn't it?
He put his hand there.
Yeah.
And the rope come up over his hand, and of course he has 2 hands there then.
And he went right around.
And then the rope come down back of his neck, and that was it.
Yeah, that's right. That family had another youngster, you know. And he died of leukemia here last year. 19-year-old.
Did he?
Yep.
Didn't know that.
Yeah, he did, yeah. Well, it was a glorious day, Bob said.
Well, it is, handsome. Get a bit drizzle tomorrow,
Did it?
Get the winds no west now. And I thought he said come a bit breezier weekend or something.
Don't go do nothing daft, you know. This is all right, I tell you. Cheerio, Carl. Don't go too far when you come back.
No, we missed him. 'Cause, you know, he's pretty good fun at sea, you know. Especially when he and Jiggy'd have little freak out on the deck. You know, if Bobby to throw a fish and knock Jiggy's glasses off or something like that, it's hello. And done on purpose, you know, just for a bit of fun. Of course, it's all over, so, you know, the little row is all over in 2 or 3 minutes, but it's good for us because we have a good laugh about it, you know. Well, I shall miss the old boy, you know.
And there's a BBC book chronicling a year in the life of the skipper and the crew of the William Sampson Stevenson out now to accompany the series.